It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the city of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
Good afternoon, Asheville. I'm Sam Parada with the City of Asheville Communication Specialist, and this is What's Up Asheville on WRES 100.7 FM. With me, I have Jessica Hughes, also with CAPE, Communication Specialist. I work with her all the time. I'm very happy to have you here. How are you?
Hey, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, you are a communication specialist with the city, and you've been with us for like a year now, right?
Yes. It was a year on July 11th.
Ooh, happy anniversary. So, what do you do with us?
Yeah, so similar to you, Sam, I'm a CAPE specialist, and I work as a liaison for different departments in the city. And really, my role is just to help advise and help departments, communicate out the projects that they have going on, making sure that the community knows about it, and really just figuring out the strategy behind those projects, and figuring out which mediums of communications we're going to use. So,
what departments do you have? Because I know you have a list.
Yes, I do. So I have legal, city manager's office, city clerks, public works, HR, transportation, and development services.
Wow, how do you manage all of that?
With my task sheet in Google and my calendar color coded.
And lots of coffee. Do you drink coffee?
Yes.
Lots of coffee.
I'm up to like 3 cups a day now. I should probably click it down and adjust things a little bit.
Well, you will also know Jessica from our social media. She's our reel master. So any fun 30-second videos that
like
we get
30
out
to
there,
90 seconds.
You know that Jessica is probably behind the camera on that one. So yeah, very happy to have you here. So I know that today you want to talk about some specific surveys or events going on with some of your departments. But before we get into that, I just wanted to jump in and say that, as liaisons, we have our departments that we work with. We sit down with them. We talk about, we come up with communication plans for their projects. So we find the target audience, the communication goals,
develop
dates,
out a
timelines,
and also just I think one of the most rewarding parts about the communication and engagement process is just figuring out what partners can we partner with.
Yep.
And that could be internal between different departments in the city, and it could also be externally too. So figuring out, is there something that we need that a partner could help us on, and then identifying which partners may want to be available, which is just really great to see. About probably like 3-4 months ago, we had an event that we did for the College and Patton Street project, and it was really great because we had external partners coming in, and we also had different departments come in too and help the event, and it was just a great success, and really just it was a one-stop shop for that project where people could just come in and ask questions, and it wasn't like they came in and the question, maybe it wasn't for transportation, it was for police, and police was there and could just answer it at that time. So making those connections and just increasing the collaboration has just been really great.
Yeah. And on top of that too, you also have, through these communication plans that we work on, and this has to do with the surveys and public meetings, any kind of public engagement or public input, is we've started to analyze who is being most negatively impacted by whatever project that we're doing. So, whether it's a neighborhood or an age demographic or a race demographic, this is something that we look into as well, so that hopefully we can, bring more people to the table, or just actually focus on who needs help the most for a specific project.
Yeah, and I really think, within CAPE, we have a lot of really great tools to also make sure that we're reaching those people that we're missing. So, we have public input, and we can look at that data that's in there, and we can pull out like, oh, we're missing an entire demographic that didn't get this, so we need to know, we got to pivot our communication plan and figure out how we're going to target that demographic to make sure we're reaching it. And more recently, I know we've been using our social media to look at the demographics and the analytics as well, just to know, who are we reaching on each social media platform, and being a lot more strategic in what we share, how we share it, what platforms we use, all the things. So I think that's really cool about our team. And of course, spreadsheets, because spreadsheets are free and they're great.
But also, the surveys.
Yes.
We just heard, earlier this week, that some people can't take the surveys because maybe we are targeting a senior population where they don't use computers, or maybe they don't feel comfortable, or they just don't know. So that's when things like the radio show come into play, so we can tell you about the surveys and, hey, spread the word. We have a lot of, I think we have 4 projects you can talk about today just now, maybe even more. But, these are things that we hope, we're just yelling in every direction. Hopefully someone gets it. But yeah, there's many options. So yeah, tell me about your big projects going on right now.
Yeah, so the first project that I'll talk about comes out of the Public Works Department and their Stormwater division. They are conducting their community engagement for the Stormwater Utility Program Assessment and Fee Study. Whew,
what is that?
I know, it's a mouthful.
What does that mean?
So the study really just focuses on, it's really just an assessment of Asheville stormwater services and the program itself. So how it operates, and also identifying the future needs of the program going forward.
So can you give me an example of some of those?
Yeah, so it might help too, just to start back from the beginning of like, what is stormwater, right? So,
yes.
So stormwater is water that comes from rain, snow, ice melt. More often not, it soaks into the soil, or it could be stored in a pond or a lake. But sometimes it flows across hard surfaces, and we have storm drains for that. But when it's flooding happens, there's things that get stuck. So there's leaves, there's litter, there's all those different things, and it can clog those storm drains, which ends up causing a mess and more flooding. Mm-hmm. So our stormwater system is really to capture all of the water that goes across those hard surfaces and try to prevent flooding mishaps, I'll say. And so the study really is just to figure out first is to figure out what does the community know about stormwater? What do they know about the program? Everybody knows there's a stormwater fee that's on your tax bill. What does that fee go towards? Which kind of is just general awareness about what stormwater is. But the study really is just to figure out what needs to happen in the future. So the first phase of the study is really just to look at the current and future operational needs, whether that be capital, financial, and and best practices of other stormwater programs within the state.
And this is like a showcase to the public?
Yes. Okay. So part of that is a survey that they have going on right now, and it's primarily focused on general awareness and knowledge of the community about the stormwater program, what it does, what it doesn't do, and also can help identify areas of concern, so they know, oh, this area, needs updates to the stormwater program.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the first phase, and then there's also we have a contractor that's coming in that some of you may have seen at community meetings, but they're conducting community meetings, just going around talking to people, getting their feedback, sharing out the survey. And then once that is done, there's going to be a set of recommendations that's going to be built out in part from the assessment that's coming from the contractors,
okay,
but then also in part that's going to come from the community itself. So really that way our team knows better how to prepare and plan for the stormwater program.
Yeah, and that's something that happens a lot with city projects like this. A lot of studies, what people assume a study is that it's going to happen,
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
But the studies usually take months of
Yes.
actual studying the subject, and this one we collect input.
Yes.
And then after the study is done, then we'll go into the implementation process, but it takes time. So do you know, so we can find this survey on publicinput.com.
So if you just go to the city website and you just type in stormwater study, I think it's the first or second link that comes up in the search bar.
It takes you to the survey.
It takes you to the project page, which has all of this information. It has a FAQ sheet, and then it also has the link to the survey.
And you said there was public meetings happening for this too?
So there are community meetings. So I said contractor, but I meant consultant. So the consultant is setting up meetings with different neighborhoods, and they're going and talking with it. So it's not public meeting. It's a little bit more targeted than that. But you may have already heard from the consultant, but if not, they're probably making their way around.
And if if your community is not a part of this, meetings, it's a good way to voice your concern that you may have stormwater issues is to go on the website and answer the survey.
Yep.
We're looking at them,
Yes.
the responses.
Yeah.
So it's a really good way to stay engaged and participate. And maybe you don't have any stormwater issues, but you're interested in what stormwater is. There's so many opportunities to be had when going to our website and learning what we're doing. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, it's great. So that's kind of the first project. The second project will come out of development services, and I have been...
What is development services?
So they do a lot of everything.
They really do.
They're really great people. But if you want to know about a zoning ordinance, or if you want to know, applying for a permit or something like that, they are your one-stop shop.
Yes.
Great people. Great.
So anything related to construction and
Yes.
just the permitting process, which I've
Yes.
gone through, takes time, but hey,
Yes.
it helps.
Yes, and they work really closely with planning too, because there's some construction that actually goes through planning and not them. I don't work for development services, so I'm not sure on the exact details of that, but I know they have a really great working relationship with planning. So
And what do they have going on right now, DSD?
Yes.
Or development services.
Yes, we call it DSD. But so they are working on some outreach regarding the noise ordinance. It hasn't changed. It's actually still the same, but
It's
they
10 p.m., right?
do what?
It's 10 p.m., like the quiet hours in Asheville?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And so they're just working on kind of a campaign around it. They know with summer months coming up, people are out, having cookouts, and there's more concerts in the area and different things like that.
Fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks. So, they just really want to just let the community know that, one, community members can always submit complaints through the Asheville app. Or they could also just go to the website and submit a complaint that way. But they really just want people to know that, when a complaint comes in, they look and investigate every complaint. And sometimes they go out there and, it's not a violation, even though it is loud. It hasn't reached that noise, I guess, marker yet.
Yeah.
And so... Yeah, so I think the main message that they have is just that if you have a complaint, you can definitely submit it on the Asheville app, or you can go to the website and do it that way. But they are investigating every complaint that there is.
And I've seen that they also have a list of steps that you can take yourself, because is not as simple as calling and someone shows up immediately. And if something that you can take care of yourself, I know it can be awkward to talk to your neighborhood, but it's honestly the most effective way to get rid of unwanted loud noise past 10 p.m. But yeah, no, so they're available. They have lists of things to do. You can submit your complaints.
And they're always there too if you just need to call and talk to somebody about, maybe you don't know what classifies as what makes something out or a violation of the noise ordinance. You can always go and call them and they can kind of walk you through that. Sometimes I know looking at any kind of ordinance or policy on the city website, like there's so much legal jargon in there that you're like, I don't even know what this means. And they're just really great people. They'd be happy to walk anyone through that process that has questions, for sure.
Yeah, I think that goes for most city employees, I think.
Yeah.
And also people are happy to talk about what they do.
Yes.
Just the other day, Jessica and I were in the middle of a communication plan, and the person in front of us laughed because we were so excited and into the idea of communicating. So that just goes to show, it's like we like what we do. So we're very happy to talk to you about it and explain everything, and whatever questions you might have.
Yes, definitely. So the next project that one of my departments has going on comes from transportation and the parking services division. So I know everybody has had questions about the parking garage improvements. So similar to Stormwater, they've been working on a study.
Yes.
They hired a consultant / contractor to conduct a parking garage assessment. Basically, we know that a lot of our parking garages are old, and some, the city takes very seriously the safety of our community members. And so this is really, it wasn't spurred on by some anything that controversial that started.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, nothing bad happened. It was just part of just something that we generally do.
Yeah.
And that is every so years we have an assessment done of our parking garages. And really they just walk through, they, look at the elevators, the stairwells,
They look for cracks and stuff like that.
Yeah, cracks, anything that could need maintenance. So throughout this process, they did see a couple of things, specifically more so with stairwells that needed to be fixed, that were more I don't want to say urgent because none of them were really urgent, but
the parking garage is not going to topple over.
Yeah, the garage was not going to topple over, but they did identify some things that could be fixed now. So they went ahead and all those stairwell improvements have been made. And then right now the contractor is finalizing that assessment report and making a timeline for the prioritization of the repairs that need to be made. Okay. And that will just develop some recommendations and improvements that then will be taken into consideration for projects and funding for the next fiscal year. So if there was anything identified that needed to be addressed that couldn't wait till next fiscal year,
they would have done it.
Yeah, that has already been addressed. So this is just a really cool project because I like sharing about it because our parking services and our capital projects team, this was kind of a combined project for them, and it just showcases how serious we take the safety of our citizens. And this is just an ongoing project that they always do, so this is really great.
Will there be any public input on this, or? No,
not at this time because it's mostly focused on just looking at
the
structure.
Fix.
Yeah, just looking if there's any maintenance issues that need to be taken care of. Like, for instance, if there was a sign that wasn't in the parking garage that's a sign that's needed, or maybe there was a light out in the elevator or something, or in a stairwell or something like that. So it's looking at all those little things, just little things and big things, all the things related to parking garage. But at this time, there's not really community input that's needed because it's just focused on the structure itself.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, just because, I've seen some posts about this parking garage is closed on this entrance, but there's
Yes.
another. So, it's good to know that it's moving along and
Yes.
things are getting fixed.
Yes.
Because a lot of buildings in Asheville are super old.
Yes. Yeah, and we always, as this plan progresses and we know the recommendations and also the improvements that need to be made, and once those are kind of planned out and funding is allocated and, council approvals, and you got to get a contractor, but when we know if there's going to be closures or anything, the first thing is our parking services try to avoid having to close down the whole garage. That is really a last resort option. We would prefer not to do that if we don't have to, because we know we have monthly parkers and tourists and also just daily parkers that want to come to dinner downtown. And so we try to avoid that as much as possible. But we always communicate that out through different mediums. So we have, we try to do, if we're closing anything, we try to do press releases, website posts, social media posts. For our monthly parkers, we have emails, and we have a text service now that our parking services just implemented. So there's multiple different avenues of methods of communications that we try to reach out to everybody from.
Mm-hmm. So, we always try to communicate. That's like, it's a given. And it's crazy to me how many different avenues we use.
Yes.
Just to tell you that the parking garage is closed.
I know. Well, the thing is like you look at our community and how diverse and amazing our community is, but we all get our information from different places. Some people watch WLOS and some people don't. Some people are only on social media, but maybe they're only on Facebook or maybe they're only on Instagram. So I think that's where it comes into just like, a large part of our role as a CAPE liaison is just looking at all of the methods of communication, knowing who is that target audience, like who are we most trying to reach, also who's most impacted in a lot of cases, and figuring out how can we reach those people.
Yep.
Which,
there's never going to be a 100%.
No.
We reached everyone in the perfect way.
Yes.
But we can at least try.
Yes. We always give it our best effort, that's for sure.
And then you have the yard waste collection changes.
Yes. So
this sounds important.
Yes, it is. So this comes from Public Works, the sanitation division. So starting on August 1st, using plastic bags for, mulching leaves is going to be prohibited. So it's suggested that you use paper bags or approved reusable containers, but paper usually is easier. But that starts on August 1st.
So you're literally coming up, like this episode will be playing while this is happening.
Yes.
So if I do like tree clippings and stuff around my property and I put them, where should I put them?
So you can still place them on the curb, and just instead of putting them in, like the big,
the trash
leaf
bins.
bag, like instead of putting them in trash bins or instead of putting them in the plastic
like the
leaf
black
bags,
plastic bags.
Yeah, instead of doing that, we're just, please use paper, or you can use approved reusable bins. And in order to get a bin pre-approved, you can call the sanitation office, Public Works. You can also, I believe they have it on their website, just like what bins are classified as approved or not approved, and just get that information from them.
So to find any of that information, you can go to our website at www.asheville.nc.gov, and on the search bar you can search for, I assume, yard waste.
Leaf bags.
Bags, or you can go to the department tabs and go to Public Works, and you're gonna find so many resources and information.
Yes.
Especially if you are constantly, putting leaves or branches or all of any of this waste outside in your house. please take a look at this.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to have a bunch of bags out in front of your house for who knows how long.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe if you forget, it's not a big deal if you forget, but they won't pick it up.
Yeah.
So just know that, and if you forget and they don't pick it up, just the next week when they come around, or the next day, whenever that is, just put it in a paper bag. But just to make clear, this is only yard waste, so it's not trash. You can still use your trash bags for trash inside your trash bin. I just want to clarify that it's only yard waste.
Which, again, just branches and stuff.
Branches, mulch, grass clippings, leaves.
Okay.
I think coming up with fall, and leaves are going to start falling and everybody's going to start raking them up. I think it's going to be more prevalent in probably about a month or so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So now you know why your leaves were not collected.
Yes. And you can also join our sanitation group. Has a great food scraps program, which is a compost program. And that's a really good way, if you don't want to buy paper bags or anything, you can take your grass clippings, your leaves, your branches, throw them in the back of your truck and take them to one of our food scrap drop-off places, and you can compost them. Which is a really great use of them as well. So, or you can do composting in your backyard as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about composting myself. We have a compost thing in our backyard. It's like a box, but I don't touch it. I grab my banana peels, I put it in a little bucket instead of the trash can, and I let my partner take it out and do all of that stuff, but I get yelled at when I throw eggshells on the trash can.
Oh no!
So, I mean, if you want to do that, that's great, and you can use it for gardening if you have a little space. I know we grew some potatoes and a bunch of tomatoes and some other stuff, but and we use that, and it's great. So don't throw it out.
It's really crazy how many things are compostable. I have a compost in the backyard too, and I looked at it. It's this huge thing. It's like 40 gallons, and I was like, "There's no way I'm ever going to fill this thing up. Like, this is nuts."
Oh, it gets filled out.
And now I have two, because there's so many things that I didn't realize were compostable, and you just don't really realize how many compostable items you use, like banana peels and different veggies.
Eggshells.
Yeah, eggshells, coffee grounds, which I probably throw way too many in there, but that's okay.
Apparently, the water you use to cook pasta in is,
really?
Or maybe it's not. You know what? We should probably start talking about this, because I don't know about composting and I don't want to put any misinformation out there.
So maybe on the next show, we're going to have Alex Miller come in from sanitation, and
she'll tell us all about it.
And give us an educational rundown of what we can and can't compost.
Yeah, and I know we're running out of time, so are there any small last-minute engagement opportunities that your departments have?
I think those were kind of the main ones.
The big ones.
Yeah, the big ones that I had coming up, that I really wanted to share out today.
That's fine. I mean, we always have new things coming out, so look at our website. We have a news segment where you can see all the press releases. You can see any new events happening. We also have our calendar on the website where you can see, public meetings, public events happening as well, and you can check them out. You can learn about them. Something coming up on the 28th and 29th of July. I know the show will be playing after that, but it's coming up. It's the PAG Square Plaza Vision public meetings. The draft plan is finally out, so you can take a look at it, and you can come tell us what you like or dislike about it, and hopefully we'll build a new PAG Square in the future. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
It's always fun to hang out with you. Check out all of those stormwater survey, new yard waste collection. Get up to date on that. Parking garage improvements. Let's rally and just be happy that it's happened. And then the noise ordinance. With summer days here, you want to get a good night's sleep so you can enjoy all of the day. Just take a look and learn, and we'll see you next time here on What's Up Asheville in WRES 100.7 FM. Have a nice one, Asheville.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRS 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30. Thank you for listening.